Hi guys, this is Forgetful Scholar and let's chat about books. So this week is Miss Parkhurst. Made me hungry and I wanted more. Okay, so the first book we're going to talk about would be Miss Parkhurst in my mind. So that's going to be The Draakenwoods, a Whyborne and Griffin novel, I think number 9 by Jordan L. Hawk. And we all know this author. This is a beloved author on this channel. I just adore their work. So this one, 5 stars. It's an MM historical, paranormal, H.P. Lovecraft lore, Cthulhu, celestial horror, romance. And again, this author is a returning beloved one on this channel, so we all know how that goes now, the whole Cthulhu happy ending stuff. So this follows Griffin and Whyborne, and let's see how much I could talk about. The secretary, Miss Parkhurst, gets a bigger role, which I thought was really cute. She's super nice and super loyal, and I really like her, and I really like her own little second character romance that's going on the side. Whyborne and Griffin are so sweet, as always. Such like couple goals. They're so adorable, especially at a time where they had to hide and keep it secret. The overarching plot of celestial horrors from the outer side coming in to take over the world deepens and continues, and there's twists and turns to it. The Edcotts come back because there is a threat in the town that is pretty gruesome, and the Edcotts come back and they're horrible as always. So yeah, so that's kind of it. It is a happy ending. I really enjoyed it. It's setting up for the next book, and like, guys, you have to realize it's book 9 and I'm still invested. Like, the only time I thought by now I would get bored because I have attention span of a gnat, but no, I'm really still interested in this. I want to know what happens. I want to see like their story come to hopefully a happy conclusion because they are fighting some pretty intense things. So the only time I got a little annoyed with it, a little like, oh, this again, was in the earlier books with the argument that kept having between Whyborne and Griffin, but I haven't seen any repetitiveness since, and I really love that. And I love how the secondary characters are deep, interesting, they're not one-sided. For instance, the father, who, Whyborne gets wrongfully convicted, like wrongfully arrested, and everybody in the town's like the police officers don't want to arrest him, but the new chief of police, who's not from Windshire, wants to make a name for himself, so he arrests Whyborne. And it's just interesting. Even like the third rank characters, I'm like, wow, that's fascinating. How the town works, it's fascinating. How they see Whyborne compared to how he sees himself is fascinating. And all this stuff, and the father's like, well, I'll have him killed, and Wyvern's like, no, don't. So he doesn't. But like the father has no problem like ordering the murder of the police chief, but yet completely accepted Griffin as his son-in-law, married to his son in like the early 1900s, because like the first car just came out and stuff like that, and the phone. So early 1900s, like that's kind of amazing. Like, I love how complicated the father is, especially since like he sees Helena Bell Wyborne's mother again, and like he seems to really have missed her, and he loves her. It's even when she now looks like a Cthulhu version of Little Mermaid, he's still, and I'm just like, oh, wow, Niles, the father Niles, is really interesting. I love how this writer does this, and the Edcotts, like, love Supernatural. I grew up with Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I know I'm aging myself, but there we go. And, I grew up with the Monster Hunters being the good guys. And this author, the Edcotts are assholes. You know what I mean? Like, they literally call Whyborne an abomination to his face. And everyone's like, don't call him that. You know what I mean? How dare you? And like, honestly, Whyborne, he's such a sweetheart. You know what I mean? And it's so fascinating how this author is showing, like, you might have good intentions, but if you go to extremes, then you're just as bad as the things you're trying to abolish, you know? And I don't know if that's what the author's intent was, but bravo, you created a piece of art and I'm interpreting it that way. So, like, even if it wasn't intentional, that's what I'm getting off of it. And it's true. Like, the Edicots on paper, it seems like they have really good um, intentions protecting humanity from evil monsters. But, you know, they consider Whyborne an abomination just because he was born different. They had no problem wiping out a whole town filled with thousands and thousands of innocents because they felt that they were evil, or they were like, there's no saving them. They're, you know, corrupted. And I'm just like, wow, you know, that is such a good way to show that, like, you might have good intentions, but if you go to extremes, you're just as bad as what you're trying to prevent. And, like, that is so amazing. That's why I absolutely love this writer. Everything they do, I try to pick it up. I try to read it. Some things I like a little bit more than others, you know, which is fair. That's, you know, that happens. But it was fair. Like, if you haven't picked up the series yet, go give it a try. Like, just like a, you know, what people call silly romance novels, and you could get so much enrichment from it. I mean, really. So that was that one. And next one is going to be it made me hungry. This is The Bear Claw Holiday. This is Contemporary Paranormal. And this is all an paranormal kind of week. I was just in the mood, you know. This is a 3-star. This is pretty short. I didn't realize how short it was when I picked it up, but I still enjoyed it. I mean, we've been reading this writer a lot lately. I like her, or they. I like their just the way they build the world around them. You get a sense like you're dropped in it, but you're not lost. You know, I don't know if it's because they do kind of contemporary style, so the surrounding is pretty like we're familiar with it. You know what I mean? So this is a very dom submissive book. And usually I don't particularly like those. I think it's just a little, sometimes it could fall into a trap of being like, for me, corny, you know, personal taste. But I enjoyed it. 3 stars, like I said. So in this world, there are animal shifters, you know, wolves, lions, tigers, bears, oh my, things like that. And there's dom shifters and there's submissive shifters. And submissive shifters can shift into animals, just like so it's like alphas and submissives. I think they just call them submissives. I don't think they called them anything else. Like, and the powers, you know, vary. And oh my, I think I forgot the name of the Pitch and Shiro. That's right. Whew, I'm sorry about that. Pitch is a dominant alpha wolf, and this a lot. I've read a lot of romances where they do that, where you come into the book and one of the main characters is like having sex with just a random person. I don't particularly care for, like, I don't know. You know what I mean? It did show that, like, he thought very little of sex and thought very, like, didn't really think much of the submissives side of things. In this world, the alphas or the dominants can kind of control the submissives, you know, give them orders and the submissives will do it and things like that. In this world, there's such things as true mates. And Shiro is from his past, he was severely abused. That seems to be kind of a theme with this author. And I do like how through the books healing happens, but doesn't happen right away. You know what I mean? Because that's more realistic. You know, it's work. Unfortunately, Shiro is a submissive. He can't shift into an animal, but he has this power where he can imbue food with his emotions. So if he's happy or energized, or if he like wants to put energy and happiness into the food, he can, and it's delicious. Or fear and anger, stuff like that. And it just made me hungry reading it because of that. So Shiro and a friend who I completely forgot what her name is, and it's okay because she's a shitty friend, so whatever. Um, run a cafe called the Bear Claw, and in the human section, and you get Shiro's like terrified of going outside and being ordered to do something. You see like how his nature completely isolates him and enslaves him and jails him, and he hates it. And Pitch didn't really give much to that. Him and his friend, who is a lion shifter, and I forgot her name. I forgot to write down her name too. But she was fantastic. She was a lot of fun. I'm like, ooh, can we get a book about her? Because she's really cool too. She's such a badass, but also super sweet. I love when writers can do that because not all badass women are assholes. You know what I mean? Anyway, I digress, as I usually do. Okay, I'm sorry. And he meets Shiro, and Shiro meets Pitch, and Shiro's terrified of him, doesn't want anything to do with him. Pitch is like, oh, this is my true mate. And through not just falling into bed with each other, Pitch kind of grows appreciation for Shiro as a person a little bit more. You know what I mean? And slowly but surely, Shiro starts to trust him. But there's outside forces that want Shiro and want his business for himself and want his powers for their use. So there's a bit of stuff like that going on. And there, a little bit of a spoiler. There's a kidnapping that happens and some really cool shifter on shifter fighting scenes because I wasn't sure if that was going to happen. And I don't know, this week I just wanted violence. I don't know what to tell you. So that was a lot of fun. I enjoyed that. And I enjoyed the action scene in that. It is a happy ending. 3 stars. It's just, like I said, it was cute. It was interesting. I liked the world. I even liked the 2 main characters. And the bad guys were interesting, but I don't think they were delve enough into. And this is a short book, so I'm not going to, judge it on that. Things like that. It's just, it felt a little shallower than their other ones. And that's okay. You know what I mean? It just didn't hit the same as the other ones did with me. So that's all. I mean, I have really nothing bad to say about it. It just didn't resonate too much. So I still enjoyed it. A 3 is still a good thing, I got hair on my little thing. Okay, so the next one is I wanted more. So this is Hex World, Babylon Boy Book 1 by T.A. Moore. This is also a 3-star because I just wanted more. And I'm really looking forward. I think this is a new release because I didn't find book 2 of this. And I want more of it. Really want more of it. I adored... No, I know this. I don't have to look at my notes. I know this. Jonah. He's the main character. And I really enjoyed him. It's 3 stars more because it's kind of setting up more of a YA trope that I hate. And you guys know I hate. Bad boy, good boy, love triangle thing. With the main character in the middle. That's not really a romance trope. That's very much a fantasy YA book trope. Those two, fantasy and YA, that's kind of what that trope comes from. And I don't particularly like it. I am happy that it didn't go too deep into that because the magic in this world is so fascinating. And the main character is dealing with addiction to hexes. And it comes from, and you find out in the last sentence of the book that he's a big deal. And the thing is, in this hex criminal element world, and the thing is, he's going by different names this whole book. I'm really happy that we got his POV and didn't go... Well, you went into the bad boys POV for a second, but not too long. Because I would have been so confused. Because they call him so many different things. Because he goes to different AA meetings and he uses different names there. When the bad boy, I think the Crossroad Crows, he gets involved with them a magical gang. He gives them a different name. And at the end of the book, you realize because in the magic world, he's a big effing deal. He's a big deal. Apparently, you know what I mean? And I'm ooh, I kind of can't wait to he drops the mask and sumos them. I don't know, sumo. Okay, sumo, sure, sumos them. And the whole time he's trying not to do a spell. The whole time, because he was in AA for spellcraft. Unfortunately, the world magic isn't out in the open, so he just goes to AA meetings. Or NA meetings too. They mention that, so he doesn't do hexes because apparently when you get through this book, and I like how it slowly unfolds. Like this author is very talented. That just bad things happen when you do that stuff, and like he's the last of his family. Everyone else has died, and apparently not a very good end. And he moves to Jerusalem after his grandma died, and he's from the town of Babylon. Such fascinating things, you know what I mean? And I will say with this, hero in the middle, bad boy on one side, good boy on the other side, I don't really know if the good boy is like there's no, if you're looking for sweeping off your feet, love scenes, romance, this isn't it. This is more of like paranormal mystery action. We do get a little bit, he thinks the good boy is good looking, he thinks the bad boy is good looking. He kisses, I think, both of them a couple times, but you don't really get much of their characters, especially the good boy. He has nothing to do with the magical world and stuff like that. He just gets caught up in it because of other stuff that's going on that's really interesting, so I'll let you find out for yourself, because go read it, it's great. We get more about the bad boy, but the bad boy's kind of young. He's like 19. And I like how even when Jonah finds out, he's like, ugh, oh no. He's like, oh no. Like, he thought the good boy was older. He didn't realize he was like 10 years older than the bad boy. He thought the bad boy was older. He didn't realize he was 10 years older than the bad boy. So I liked how that kind of stopped him in his tracks for a bit. It's like, oof. And to be fair, the bad boy more hits on him than the other way around. So I don't know, like, who the main couple's supposed to be, and that's okay. I meant to check to make sure this was in the romance novel section categorized. I'm not sure if it is. I'm sorry. It was fun. I enjoyed myself. It might be just sort of in the urban fantasy section. I'm not sure, and I'll write down here if it is or not. So so that's what it is. So that's it for this week. I don't want to, but I gotta get back to the real world. Like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you later. Bye.